and feel like one project to anyone looking at it or living here. It also meant we'd be able to support 74 units of permanent supportive housing across the 2 phases. I reached out and applied for every funding source available, telling the story of Thunderbird and our vision for the development over and over again. And I was met with overwhelming support for the project. For this, I'm beyond grateful. They placed their trust in me and my team to see this through successfully. The Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System, our state's Medicaid program, more commonly known as Access, provided $1 million in SMI housing trust funds and a 20-year contract for 16 project-based units for phase 1. In phase 2, they committed another $1 million and 24 project-based voucher units. Families are referred from ABC Behavioral Health's SMI waitlist and meet income and SMI designation requirements. The vouchers are administered by Home Inc., with whom on-site management works directly to place families. All of these families have experienced homelessness. The City of Phoenix provided $1 million in federal home funds and a 15-year contract for 17 project-based units for each phase of Thunderbird for families experiencing homelessness, domestic violence, or human trafficking. The first 10 families housed under this contract here have a combined total of 23 shelter stays with an average of 3.5 years in the homeless system, according to data mined from HMIS. Some families have been involved in the homeless system for as long as 8 years on their journey to permanent supportive housing here. This is not the face of homelessness you typically see splashed across the news. These families are hidden homeless, living in their cars, in transitional shelters, or other emergency situations. They are overwhelmingly women with children. So you see, this housing project isn't just a building, but it's a beacon of hope, a symbol of compassion and a testament to the power of community coming together to uplift those in need. It's a public health intervention in the intergenerational cycle of trauma caused by domestic violence, homelessness, untreated mental illness, or addiction. And while labels and operational definitions like these are important for helping us make sense of the world, especially when it comes to our funding and key performance indicators, the Reserve provides a place where residents can transcend the labels imposed upon them by institutional systems. The artwork you see around you reflects that message. I am the maker of my own life. I control my narrative, and if I want that story to change, it will. This is our story today. Affordable housing is healthcare. Affordable housing is transformative, and we together have the great privilege and responsibility of being the change makers. Developing affordable housing, that is a lot like baking a cake. You need the right tools, the right ingredients, a lot of patience, and if you screw it up, you're going to have a giant mess on your hands. But anybody who knows me knows how much I love to make cakes, specifically birthday cakes for my children. I spend 24, 48, 72 hours in hyper-focus. It's a meditation of love that I have for the person I'm making that cake for. It's more art than science. And when my poor husband inevitably asks if I know what it's going to look like at the end, all I can usually say to his horror is, no, but I have a vision. Trust me, this is a lot like affordable housing. It's more than just the capital stack and balancing your sources and uses, although that is essential. As my father's always said, it's all about the people. It's all about you. So thank you. Thank you to my husband, Jason, for loving and supporting me, my children who are here today for inspiring me, Jackie Foster and Maria Herrera Silva for being my village, my parents, Mark and Sunday, for their support, my team at Atlantic, Stu, Heidi, Curtis, Audrey, Ophelia, Emily, and Drew, my team at Four Leaf Construction, John Seashon, Martin White, Neil Inman, Doug Harris, Raphael Patino, and others, who managed up to 180 people per day working on this site some days. Jim Applegate and Jeff Stevens of Built Form Architecture Group, my amazing team at Celtic Property Management here at Thunderbird, Anna DiSabato, Taylor Hoffler, Carly Bradley, Joe Herrera, and Jason Brennan. Thank you to our funders and our lenders, Arizona Department of Housing, City of Phoenix, Access, and Northmark Capital. Thank you to our community partners, Mike Shore, the original OG mom boss, Sharon Shore, and the entire Homing family. To Daniel Davis at Threshold for helping us to meet our mission of filling first unit vacancies with tenant-based voucher holders. And thank you to Charles Sullivan and ABC Behavioral Health. To Community Bridges, our lead nonprofit service provider, thank you for your partnership and commitment. To the Greater Phoenix Urban League, who's providing economic empowerment programming, and their Head Start staff for collecting furniture donations to help our families start over on the right foot. Thank you to St. Mary's Food Bank for providing nutrition assistance for children. Thank you to the Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club for their help with furniture donations. John Ledbetter and the Lead a Better Way Foundation, the Sidewalk Project. So many people have come together to help us with this project. Thank you to our elected leaders, courageously advocating for the right to affordable housing for all Arizonans. Thank you, Governor Katie Hobbs. Under your leadership, a bipartisan budget was passed which included an historic $150 million investment in the State Housing Trust Fund. Phase 2 of Thunderbird was supported with $1 million from that investment, helping to provide leverage to the other funding sources and maximize the efficiency of the LIHTC program in order to provide these much-needed permanent supportive housing units. We need to recognize the indispensable role of the LIHTC program in making all of this a reality. Without it, Thunderbird and Atlantic's other affordable housing developments would not be possible. Through the LIHTC program, developers receive credits for investing in affordable housing projects like this one. It's the largest driver of affordable housing development in our country. And it is through dedicated community supporters and committed staff, Joan, Sherry, Melanie, Carson, Keon, Ruby, and others, thank you. The initiatives like the LIHTC program allow us the means to truly make a difference in the lives of people. Our first speaker, Joan Service, has been a leader in the End to Fight Homelessness in Arizona for more than a decade, and an advocate for safe, affordable housing for all Arizonans. Joan has more than 20 years of experience in coalition building, state and federal policy work, and community organizing. She is every bit the definition of a servant leader. And in her current role as CEO, Joan oversees the Arizona Department of Housing and is the executive leader of the Governor's Interagency Community Council on Homelessness and Housing. Joan Service.
Good morning, everybody. Once again, my name is Joan Service. What a great day to be here celebrating the grand opening of reserves at Thunderbird. Today is May 1st, otherwise known as May Day, and if the internet is to be believed, neighbors would leave baskets of flowers on their neighbors' doorsteps, and what a beautiful bouquet the reserves at Thunderbird is for all of the 108 neighbors living here. I'm honored to be here joined by Governor Hobbs, who has prioritized housing on her agenda and directed her administration, both the Department of Housing and Access, to direct its aid, both financial and technical, to make Arizona the best place to live, work, and raise a family. At ADOH, we're proud of our financial commitment via federal and state resources, including the federal low-income housing tax credits, to support the 108 new homes for families to come home to at the reserves at Thunderbird. And what stability, safety, and thoughtful support they will receive living here. They'll not only have modern amenities in their individual homes, but also access to case management from Community Bridges, financial empowerment through the Greater Phoenix Urban League, nutrition assistance, all of which made possible by Atlantic Development and Celtic Property Management, stewarded by Jess Raymond, a social worker type masquerading as an affordable housing developer. The grand opening of the reserve at Thunderbird marks a long history between ADOH and Atlantic Development, dating back to the 90s and creating over 3,400 homes in Arizona by working together. And speaking of our shared work, this community marks another opportunity to partner with the City of Phoenix. Thank you to Mayor Gallego, Director Matthews, and thanks to my two friends who have taught me so much about supporting and housing our formerly unhoused neighbors with dignity and compassion. Access Housing Administrator Liz Costa and Community Bridges Director Vicki Phillips. Again, congratulations to all the partners that have made this grand opening a success. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce you to our next speaker and leader of our great state. A native Arizonan, Governor Hobbs has over a decade of public service to the state of Arizona. Governor Hobbs sees her role as governor as an extension of her social work and has already moved the needle forward on some of our state's biggest challenges, including housing affordability, water security, and public education. By bringing people together, Governor Hobbs is paving the way for an Arizona for everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Arizona's 24th Governor, Katie Hobbs.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Joan, for the introduction and also for your continued leadership at the Arizona Department of Housing. This is a very exciting day for the state, for this community, and for our shared mission of increasing affordable housing for Arizonans. Affordable housing is top of mind for Arizonans across the state. Wherever I go, whether it's Safford, Yuma, Lake Havasu, or right here in Phoenix, I hear from everyday Arizonans about the struggle to find a place to live that doesn't break the bank. I've made this issue a priority from day one, and we're already making progress. One of my earliest acts as governor was reestablishing the Interagency and Community Council on Housing and Homelessness. Then I secured a $150 million investment into the State Housing Trust Fund to build more homes that are affordable for everyday Arizonans. And last month, I launched the Arizona is Home Mortgage Assistance Program to help Arizonans with down payment assistance and mortgage rate reductions. We're also working to aggressively leverage the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program, which has already been used to create thousands of units across the state, including this one here today. The undeniable success of the state's LIHTC program is exactly why I proposed an 8-year extension and $8 million in tax credits per year in my executive budget. All of these programs are invaluable tools that will help more Arizonans find an affordable place to live. The Reserve at Thunderbird development is a true example of public-private partnership, with funds coming from the Arizona Department of Housing, Access, the City of Phoenix, and Atlantic Development. Together, we made this project a reality. I'm grateful to the team at Atlantic Development for recognizing the importance of sustainability in this project and including a solar panel system that will offset nearly 100% of the complex's energy use. This is exactly the type of sustainable growth we should be doing more of across Arizona. I also want to thank Mayor Kate Gallego and the City of Phoenix for providing $1 million towards this project and for your continued partnership in creating an affordable Arizona for everyone. This has been a true team effort, and I'm proud that Arizona has played such a large role in making it happen. The Reserve at Thunderbird isn't just a place for people to live, it's a community for them to call home. And it is a shining example of what's possible when those in leadership take the affordable housing crisis seriously. As governor, I will not stop working until every Arizonan has access to an affordable home. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you.
Thank you, Governor Hobbs. Without leadership on housing issues from elected officials such as Governor Hobbs, the Arizona legislature, Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego, and the Phoenix City Council, the development of the Reserve at Thunderbird wouldn't have been possible. Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego oversees the 5th largest and fastest growing big city in the nation and is the 2nd elected female mayor in the city's history. Mayor Gallego is an advocate for smart business growth and investment. She helped land the city's largest business development deal a $40 billion semiconductor manufacturing plant that will bring significant economic development. She's leading our city to global status as a leader in bioscience, technology, research, and advanced manufacturing. She's also leading Phoenix to meet its goal to become the most sustainable desert city in the country, and has fostered investments in cool solutions. A graduate of Harvard University, she earned her MBA from the Wharton School of Business. She enjoys desert hikes and is mom to 7-year-old Michael.
Thank you, Jessica, for that great introduction. Jessica, Mark, the entire team at Atlantic, congratulations on this phenomenal project. The introduction ended with mentioning that I am a mom, and you can see that you as project lead also have that mom stamp on this. It has all the key details for families to want to live here, whether it be investing in nutrition, because we all know that a hungry kid is not going to thrive at school or sleep well, but also the fun details. If you have not seen the splash pad, a lot of smiles there. This is a place that families want to live, including families that have had to overcome incredible challenges and trauma. Every detail from the design of the units to the murals is trauma-informed and first class, so congratulations on creating a community where people will want to live. In Arizona, sometimes the face of homelessness you see is tents, and people don't get a chance to see keys to projects like this one, but this is truly a success from every level of government. Phoenix was pleased to step up with not just home funds, but also project-based vouchers. This project continues what we've been recognized on the national level for, which is housing people who have overcome huge challenges. We are a real leader in housing people who have experienced human trafficking and trying to come up with approaches that look at the entire life experience someone has had. Appreciate the great investment in permanent supportive housing, saying it's not just enough to get you the key, but we will stick with you and support you. The diversity of this community also will increase the success. Before I was mayor, I was a city councilwoman and chaired the housing committee, and Jessica and Aubrey gave me a tour of a different investment we had worked on together closer to downtown. And we got to meet a resident who had used the services at the project for Head Start. So thank you to the Urban League for that partnership. But she had also found her job at a local restaurant because one of her neighbors who worked in the project and was in a market rate unit said, I want to help you. And that really showed the diversity and how it matters to have diverse communities, that when you have people from all different backgrounds, your neighbors can be part of your support system and help you succeed, and it further cemented my belief that diverse communities are the most successful and that you need people from all backgrounds. Neighbors can be some of the greatest partners, so thank you for that investment. Also, you can't understate how important it is that it's a first-class project with beautiful landscaping. A couple months ago, we got to do a hard hat tour and see that everything from the appliances to the lighting was high quality, where you'd want to live and where the units will stand the test of time. Investing in the capital upfront so that the units will last longer is a great investment for everyone, and not one that happens at every affordable housing project. So that's why people want to live here and are so excited. Although I did speak to a 4-year-old who was very excited. His bedroom is like twice as big as it used to be. The bedrooms are important as well. We have a need for housing at all levels, but 3 and 4 bedrooms, a huge shortage. We have big families that want to stay together, and having larger units goes a long way to having happy, successful families. So this project meets so many different needs all at once, and we are excited to continue to partner on multiple different phases. It's also in a really important part of our city. If you look all across the country, a lot of the big infrastructure investments are not in the biggest cities, but we have an advantage here. TSMC, who Jessica mentioned in the introduction, investing $65 billion not far from here. But how cool that there's affordable housing right near that economic opportunity. 40% of the jobs there don't require a college degree. Most of them pay more than Mayor of Phoenix does. And to have be able to access to employment like that close to home is a really big deal. So many of the other major investments across the country don't have those competitive advantages. So this project meets the moment in so many different ways. Congratulations to the entire team, and thank you to Team Phoenix. I'm here with Director Matthews. His team is so passionate about people-centered approaches and taking all of the best practices, so many of which we have here today. Director Titus helped bring multiple financial tools to the table to deliver success. So we are pleased to be a small part of the amazing cake you have baked. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor Gallego. And it's not a small part. Without those permanent vouchers and the capital funds that the city provided, this project wouldn't have been possible. Titus Matthew is the director of the City of Phoenix Housing Department and executive director of the Phoenix Public Housing Authority. In his role, Titus oversees 129 full-time staff, 51 contract staff, and an operating budget of $199 million. The Housing Department facilitates public housing, Section 8 housing choice vouchers, affordable rental apartments, and single-family homes for more than 35,000 area residents, including housing for special populations, such as those who've experienced homelessness, are disabled, or have been victims of human trafficking. Titus and his staff manage the City of Phoenix's housing plan, which has a goal of creating or preserving 50,000 homes by 2030 to address the housing shortage in Phoenix. As I've mentioned before, the City of Phoenix's award of $1 million on each phase of this project and the project-based vouchers that enable our permanent supportive housing residents to live here and feel security living here were essential. Furthermore, the support we received from Samantha Keating, Joseph McEwen, and Stanko Zavko in our interactions with the Planning and Building Department were essential in keeping the project moving on a tight timeline, despite the challenges faced by the new realities of a post-COVID workplace and the delays that can often cause to the permitting process. So I'm incredibly grateful to the Housing Department for their leadership in really facilitating this project moving forward. Thank you, Titus.
Good morning. On behalf of Phoenix Housing Department, I want to say what a great job and what a great morning it is to see this beautiful building. As I was driving in, I said to myself, and the mayor recently in a State of City address announced the data from a Housing Phoenix plan. So I'm proud to announce, she didn't mention it, but I'm going to reinforce it, is we have created and preserved 40,000 units as of March 31st of 2024. And the best thing about it is 21% of those units are affordable. 3 years ago, our unit mix was 10% affordable, so 100% increase. So what we're seeing is all these projects that are happening today is increasing our affordable housing stock. So I really thank the mayor and council for being very supportive of all the initiatives we do at the planning processes and the improvements we have done to expedite the process of building affordable housing. In addition to that, I want to thank Jessica for being an innovative leader in the affordable housing space. Recently, we had a HUD visit and we visited one of her projects. And they were so impressed. And at DC a couple of weeks ago, they were like, wow, that was a cool project. I said, I will tell her in person. And I said, and they asked me, how would you describe Jessica? I said, that's an interesting question. So I said, she's full of energy, very creative, and she never stops asking. You know? And she pushes the envelope, and I'm okay with it because we need more people like her to create affordable housing. So on behalf of housing, we thank you for all that you do. I also want to thank Mark Breen for being a pioneer in this space in Arizona. So thank you very much for all that you've done. And finally, I just want to say, what a wonderful project. We look forward to seeing more of these developments in the coming years, and we like your support. We want to continue partnering with you in the future as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Titus. Our next speaker, Liz Costa, has worked in the housing and homelessness space in Arizona for the last 15 years. She has experience providing direct services to members as well as developing new innovative programs. She now serves as the Director of Housing for Access. In this role, she oversees the Access Housing Program, the SMI Housing Trust Fund, and Access Housing Initiatives. Access has been an incredible partner on this project, providing both capital funds and project-based vouchers that have helped to make this project financially feasible. Liz Costa.
So glad to be here, so exciting, so much creativity. Yes, I'm the Director of Housing with the Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System, our state Medicaid agency. But more importantly, from my perspective, I am also a product of these programs. So at 22 years old, I moved into a family shelter in downtown Phoenix. I had a brand new baby girl. I had no clue what I was doing. I knew that I wanted to change my narrative and change the life that she had before her. I was living in an unhealthy environment, and so that's when I went into that shelter. And you know, it was literally, we won't tell her this, even though she might end up watching. She's 16 now and doing well, so don't be scared either. But I was literally like a baby. You know what I mean? Like, what do I do? Like, you're crying. How do I even figure this out? All the while still trying to figure out how I'm going to establish housing security for us. So I moved into that shelter. It had a communal space. We had a shared kitchen and shared bathrooms. And then they led me to my room, and it was this tiny room with a little window in the back. It was very small, and I remember opening up the door and closing the door behind me and thinking, oh my goodness, I can do this. I have my own space that's healthy, it's mine, nobody can tell me to leave right now, that I can actually learn how to become a mother. So I actually lived there for the next 2 years, learning to become a mother around this village. There was case management staff that told me how to access child care assistance so I could get on child care assistance and help put her into daycare so I can go and I actually started going to school to become a medical assistant and try to get a job. And then I found a job, and that was actually scary because then all of a sudden they're like, okay, great, Liz, you can move out of here now. And I'm like, what? Like, why would I ever move out of this place? Right? Like, I have everything we need here. But they wanted me to be brave. They wanted me to push beyond the limits that I had put into my mind. And so they said, let's start looking at some affordable options out in the community. And I was making barely over minimum wage, and I had my daughter and all of those budget needs. And I said, you guys taught me how to do budgets, and the math isn't mathing, right? Like, I don't make enough money to be able to live in an apartment and pay for childcare and pay for gas and have a life. But then that was when we found affordable housing. So there was an affordable housing complex in downtown Phoenix, and my daughter and I ended up moving there. How brilliant to have rents that actually meet the income levels of individuals so that they can not experience rent burden and get out into the community. And so it was living in that apartment complex that I started to develop resilience, confidence, push beyond my limits when it came to my budget that are actually transferable in the workplace. And then I started to advance in my career, started to get paid more, and then I was able to buy a home eventually and start to help my daughter access sports and all kinds of different opportunities. So one thing I want to ask folks today is if you can consider in your lives, what parts of you are extraordinary because you don't experience rent burden? And then how can we try to help people not experience rent burden so they can find their extraordinary? We can all see the impact access to opportunities has on people's lives, whether it is education, business, home ownership, a healthy neighborhood, good schools, or the financial means to be able to develop a sport or skill. Projects like the Reserve at Thunderbird contain the formula for helping people access housing stability, opportunity, and vision for themselves. I can only imagine the future directors, leaders, bakers, authors, teachers who will find their path to purpose after having found access to opportunity by calling this beautiful place a home. At Access, we know the importance of addressing whole person health. We have worked for years to allocate funds from the Serious Mental Illness Housing Trust Fund to projects just like this in order to help our community's most vulnerable members have access to opportunity and affordable housing. We understand that stabilization of mental health and physical health often occurs in a hospital setting or an outpatient treatment center, but that long-term health and stabilization comes from healing that occurs in the home and in the community. We are proud to be investing in projects like the Reserve and further developing a community with the resources to help people have decent, safe, and affordable housing. But this is just the beginning. It is incredible what Atlantic Development was able to create out of a vacant dirt lot. The attention to detail and love poured into the design has made this project a home that people can be proud to live in. But like I said, it's only the beginning. It's now time for community partners, neighbors, churches, schools, our health plans, access, to be intentional every day with ensuring members who reside here have the right level of wraparound support services and resources to continue to help them heal and reach their full potential. Because today we do the ribbon cutting and everybody leaves, and then the doors open and families move in, and then we get into the day-to-day. And when families move in, they're still going to experience trauma, they're going to have medical diagnoses that come about, and we have an entire system of care that has the right level of wraparound services to help them navigate through all of that and continue on with their stabilization to find their full potential. The last thing I want to share is we have Brian Liljegren here, our housing development manager, who oversees the SMI Housing Trust Fund and does the work to distribute the funds across the state, as well as oversee all the units that have been awarded funds so far. And then we also have Olga Lopez, our housing program manager, who oversees the Access Housing program with the rental assistance we provide to members across the state. We are a small but mighty team. We are dedicated. We are going to operate with intention every single day as we match Jessica's creativity with the wraparound support services. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. You're amazing. Speaking about those wraparound supportive services, our next speaker is Dr. Vicki Phillips, Chief Clinical and Development Officer from Community Bridges. She spent decades working in cities and towns across Arizona, collaborating with a range of stakeholders and elected leaders to craft partnerships meant to solve communities' most pressing problems. She passionately believes in the power to impact lives through compassion, accountability, education, and maintaining the dignity of each human life.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would definitely like to acknowledge Jessica and Mark and team, as well as all of our elected officials and representatives from Housing, Mayor Gallego, for the fantastic support of this Thunderbird property. So can you all join me in giving them a big round of applause? We had the opportunity to tour this property several months ago, and I think what became salient in the design, what the splash pads, the dog runs, the size of the units, was this just wasn't about thoughtful intention, it was about love. And I think that when we walked away from this property, that is really what we felt. This was a labor of love, and the people joining this who are living here are going to feel this communal connection to Thunderbird. So again, thank you very much for the work that you did. Several years ago, Liz Costa, which I don't know, you all seem to hear her name trending. Liz is this invisible string, I think, that kind of connects a lot of us together. So Liz, you've been incredible. Needless to say, Liz brought an opportunity to Community Bridges, and that opportunity was to partner and deliver support services at City Place. And in doing so, we had an opportunity to learn about the needs of what individuals were experiencing, because you're right, housing is one piece of it, right? It's the day in, day out once you're housed. It's the ability to identify when someone needs trauma care, when they need trauma counseling. It's when they need substance use services or mental health. So we developed on-site support services, and those on-site support services really identify life skills, right? Being able to budget, being able to find a job, being able to navigate the challenges of where to find food and security. And so our on-site support services have been a core, I think, component to the different housing programs that exist. I think also what's important is that we have utilized peer support. Those are those individuals who have the lived experience, who know what it's like to navigate the challenges of homelessness, of not knowing where to get food, not knowing how to apply for benefits. And those are the services that we have brought to the forefront. We've been able to expand our opportunities and work with Jessica on other programs. And each time we do it, what we learn is that each program in each community has its own nuance, has its own characteristics. And so we've been able to adapt. And so as we approach our services here at Thunderbird, one of the things that we're looking at, in addition to our core services, we're going to be providing, there's a significant number of tribal individuals. We will be providing tribal talking circles. We're also working closely with AA and NA to bring on-site support services. So again, we're extremely honored to be part of this, and we look forward to our future collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. Did you know that colorful artwork, when viewed, triggers a release of dopamine, igniting feelings of happiness and relaxation? Recent research suggests that viewing beautiful paintings activate brain regions associated with pleasure, similar to the response evoked when seeing a beloved individual. Art is transformative, and that's what we're doing here at Thunderbird. Clyde, our lead artist, is a Phoenix-based artist known for his large-scale murals that captivate the city's visual landscape. Muda Santiago, a Miami and Arizona-based visual artist, comes from a background in street art and has managed to carry and do projects commercially and independently nationwide. I found these guys on Instagram, and they are amazing, and they have been so much fun to work with. Clyde and Muda.
I'm Clyde. I've been doing murals around the valley for a little over than 10 years now. A lot of these projects, there's so many voices and creative input coming from every direction, so it's a little hard to pull together one project. But when Jessica presented this project, I just want to give her a big thanks. She told us her goals and what she was doing with the development, and from there she fully trusted us with the creative vision and the creative process. And so for Muta and I, it was it was something we could take pride in, and had a really good time designing each mural and coming up with a concept and a narrative that we felt proud of, and something we thought would resonate with Jessica's project. So I just wanted to give thanks to Jessica for that, and I'll have Muta talk more about the concept of the murals.
So initially, when Jessica reached out to us for this project, I thought, wow, like this is insanely incredible, and I felt like I resonated with it deeply, being that I was raised in a house full of women my entire life, and this is something special we could bring to the community here, considering their special circumstances. So if you've noticed, once you drive in, we start with a narrative and a story of a woman creating these pots, and where she finds solace and a peace within it. And it kind of continues to the second wall, and where she's painting this pot that she's created now, and using the magic of the Phoenix sun coming from it, she then finishes to this third mural where she places the pot down, and it serves as a reminder really to encourage us to really, you know, fill our life's spaces with purpose, intention, and our inner lights. So thank you guys.
Thank you, guys. It's all about the people, and our strength lies in our community. Today, one of our residents, Elizabeth Galvez, will share her journey with us, the story of resilience and hope, which underscores the critical importance of a supportive living environment. Her experience illuminates why places like the Reserve at Thunderbird are so much more than housing. There are grounds for rebuilding, rejuvenation, and a returning to a life. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Galvez, and I am happy to get a chance to express my gratitude. I feel emotional already, I'm sorry. In 2020, like the rest of the world, my life flipped upside down. I was struggling with postpartum, my mental health had crashed, and I was no longer able to work. Before I knew it, my family of 5 found ourselves unexpectedly homeless. It was a hard time filled with fear and frustration. My husband and I felt empty and alone. Being unable to provide for our family was unbearable. I was lucky enough to be connected with Home Inc. that gave us a dream opportunity for my family at the Reserve at Thunderbird. Not just a roof over our head, but a beautiful and safe roof. Not to mention the amazing amenities that have been offered. The media lab where I take our children for school, the parks and the soon-to-be splash pad that have already been mentioned. We're super excited for that, as well as the bike repair room. These are all things that have helped my family grow closer together. I'm thankful to local governments, to Home Inc. and the Reserve at Thunderbird for giving my family a chance that has changed our lives forever. Now, instead of fear and frustration, we feel pride and empowerment. It truly is a great day to express our gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Now, I've been told that we've run over time, so we're going to keep our closing remarks brief. But before we say our goodbyes, I just wanted to say thank you to the man who's made all of this possible for me, my father, my business partner, and one of my best friends, Mark Breen.
Thank you, Jessica. I just want to thank Jessica for helping me with my speech. She's always said that she's the analyst and I'm the dancer, so I'll dance up here. I want to talk about feelings, and how I felt this morning, or how I felt yesterday or the day before. Some days I get out of bed and I go in and I look in that mirror and I say, oh my God, how are you going to get through this day? Look at you. And I think, come on, put on a smile and, kind of look good, fake it. No, today wasn't one of those days. Today was a day when I woke up and I got up early. I looked in the mirror and I saw a big smile on my face. And as hard as I tried, I couldn't get rid of it. It was just there. And I hope that everyone involved, if not today, tomorrow, wakes up with a giant smile on their face, because you all deserve it. You've helped us in so many ways, not only today, but over the last 30 years, 35 years almost. God, I'm getting older. We now are going to be having birthdays for some of our complexes where they're going to be 30 years old. We may be the only developer in the state that'll still have complexes in the program at the age of 30 years without re-syndicating them, without redoing them, without taking them out of the program and making them market rate. We committed to Arizona. Arizona committed to us. And in any relationship, some days you have a good day and some days, you're different in your feelings, but we couldn't be in a better state. We couldn't be with better people. We couldn't be with a helping hand that's reached out to us every time we've needed it and said, yes, we'll help. It's amazing. I've been in other states, and I'm telling you, there is nowhere in this country that I would rather be, work in, live in, and do business with its citizens and its government than Arizona. It's a great state. A great state. Governor Hobbs, Joan, Jessica, and John Seashon, if he's here, I don't know, he usually hides when these things go on. He's the guy that built all these complexes. I want to thank you all. And everyone I did miss that Jessica's already said, thank you too. And especially George Dean, he's back there. George, at Greater Phoenix Urban League, one of my best friends. And George has been involved in many projects, many complexes. He's got the Head Start program over there at Avalon. He's done a great job. We're going to continue to do this kind of work, not only now, but in the future. We've got more complexes planned, all of them that are going to have special features above and beyond what the state would like us to give, but what we want to give and what Jessica wants to give. She's taught me, and I have learned, not a lot, but she's taught me some, you know, that, Dad, you'll be happier giving than just taking. And so right she is. With that, I want to thank her and let you all know that when I fly off to Never Never Land, you've got a great person taking care of business in Arizona for the Breen family and for Atlantic Development.
He's not going anywhere. Thank you again, everybody. I appreciate all of you so much. There are refreshments inside, there are gifts inside, and there are guided tours. Look for a Celtic property management team member dressed in black with a name tag, and they can take you on some tours of some units. Thank you again, Governor Hobbs, Director Service, Mayor Gallego. Thank you, everybody.